2017 brought with it a great deal of scrutiny for social media giants, particularly Facebook and Twitter. Both companies, along with Google, came under the US microscope after news that Russian bots and trolls used their platforms to meddle in the 2016 US presidential election. These bots spread fake news and sketchy political ads with the goal of undermining democracy and creating hostility between the American people. And it's safe to say they succeeded. As a result, counsel for Facebook, Twitter, and Google had to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee this past November. The companies all accept the responsibility for failing to stop this ill-minded propaganda from spreading like wildfire on social media, and said they're already working on new ways to fight these threats, which means relying less on algorithms and hiring more actual humans to review things such as political ads. But this raises a question: should political ads and speech on Facebook, Twitter, and Google be regulated by the United States government? There are lawmakers, both Democratic and Republican, who firmly believe so. And there's already legislation being proposed, like the Honest Ads Act, that could see online advertising regulated the same way print, radio, and television are. Democratic Senator Mark Warner told NPR earlier this year that the bill was born after months of asking social media companies to, quote, come clean with the level of Russian interference, unquote. Facebook, Twitter, and Google were to be regulated, it could be a way to hold them accountable for their mistakes and force them to be more transparent, something they all failed at during and after the 2016 presidential election. Of course, like with any proposed legislation, it could take years for it to actually become law, or it could never happen at all. There are experts who believe that might be for the best, since they don't see how the government could regulate these companies and what people share on their platforms without infringing on First Amendment rights. Not everyone is a Russian bot after all. In 2018, we could see more proposed bills like the Honest Ads Act start to pop up in Congress, with bipartisan efforts designed to curb the influence of social media in politics. U.S. Representative Adam Schiff, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, told us that Congress needs to exercise much more oversight to understand how software algorithms used by Facebook, Twitter, or Google work. That said, he doesn't see Congress, quote, trying to legislate an algorithm because that is beyond the regulatory reach and competence of the government, unquote. Paul Levinson, a professor of communications and media studies at Fordham University, echoed that statement, telling us in a recent interview that, well, the US government shouldn't try to regulate Facebook, Twitter, Google, or any other social media company for that matter because, quote, they have no idea how the internet works, unquote. He said, if anything, it should be more about self-regulation. Not that it matters if any of these companies are open to being regulated, but during the Senate hearings on Russian influence, they all seem to welcome the idea of being more transparent. And let's face it, that's the least they can do. One thing is clear, according to US Representative Schiff, the government and these tech companies will need to work closer together in 2018 and beyond in order to make sure that what happened in 2016 doesn't happen ever again.